Meeting to order. My name is Elmer Thrift. Let's do a roll call. Mr. Burson.
Present.
Mr. Pope.
Present.
Mr. Lucas.
Present.
Mr. Hendrick.
Present.
Cheers. Okay. I've asked Danny if he would lead us in prayer before we start.
Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you so much for the day. We thank you, Father, for all the blessings of life that you've given us. We thank you, Father, for the blessings that we have when we live here in this county. We pray, Father, that you would continue to bless us as you see we're in need. Bless the men that will be making decisions today about the business affairs of the county. Guide them in wisdom, Father, and help them always to remember that they work for the citizens of Ware County and that we look for them for guidance, leadership, and purpose. Forgive us of our sins. In Jesus' name we pray, and amen.
Amen.
Let's pledge. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. I'm gonna skip 4, we're gonna go down to 5, and I'm gonna ask Timmy if he would, Lucas if he'll introduce this champion.
It would be my honor. I thought this was very, it's close to home because I had 2 kids that wrestle. And both my kids and myself always work out with weights. And what this young man has accomplished at Ware County High School this year, to me, is just phenomenal. And he's also been a mentor to my baby boy, which I really appreciate. This young man is one of the nicest young men you ever want to be around. He's so humble, he's so polite. He's ate at my dinner table, he spent the night at my house. I can't say enough good things about him. I just hope he rubs off on my youngin'. You know, because he needs a little bit of guidance there sometimes. But I'd like to call Jabari George forward real quick. And his father, young lady with him. And I'll tell you what this young man has accomplished. His name is Jabari George. Come around here. Come on, Coach. Come on up here too. This is Coach Outfield. And Coach, Coach, he'll tell you, I think the last state champion we had in wrestling was 2014. Last middle state champion was 2014, individual. Well, that's phenomenal. His name was Josh Allen. He was a good fellow. He's what I call the spider web because he'd hang on me like a monkey. I mean, he'd use his legs and arms on me the same way. Well, this gentleman right here, Mr. Jabari, I've watched him wrestle for the last, how many years now? 3 years. Didn't start wrestling until he became a sophomore. He becomes a senior, he wins state hands down. I don't even think he had any real competition, right? Pretty well easy. He won individual state champion in wrestling. And what just caught my attention on this young man, besides his humbleness, is yes sir, no sir, yes ma'am, no ma'am. And he would even come in there, I tell him, make yourself at home, go in the pantry, he'd go find something in the pantry, walk in there and say, Mr. Lucas, can I have this? Absolutely, son, go eat if you're hungry, eat. That's what it's there for. 3 weeks after wrestling was over with and he won the state championship, he turns around and wins individual weightlifting state championship. 3 weeks after wrestling. And anybody that's ever wrestled knows that wrestling will tear your body down. Weightlifting will build your body up. He only had 3 weeks. So to me, that's almost impossible to do. And then to have the kind of demeanor and love for life and the existence of people. And I believe he even said one time that his desire was to go to the military, work in the intelligence, because he really wants to help behind the scenes. That tells you what his IQ is right there. He's very, very intelligent, very, very smart. He's just a standout kid to me. And like I say, I hope it rubs off on my kid a little bit, because they are very close, and he is always welcome at my house. And I thought it was appropriate to honor this young man up here in front of our commission, because he definitely made Ware County look a good job. He really did. 2-time state champion, 3 weeks apart, 2 separate classes as an individual. Because he won state as a heavyweight, which goes from 215 to 285. And then he won individual weightlifting at 245. I mean, that's phenomenal. Anybody that's ever worked out, anybody that's ever wrestled. I wanted to commend him for that. You have anything you want to say about it, Coach?
The only thing that I really want to say is that, the reason that Jabari made winning state championship look easy is because of the work that he put in to, achieving that goal. It wasn't free, and it wasn't easy. There was nothing about it that was easy. He only made it look easy because of his commitment to the program and his dedication to our creed, which is respect, commitment, discipline, hard work, and sacrifice. He'll be a role model for our athletes up and coming. His picture will be on the wall, and he's going to be one of those athletes that the rest of our younger athletes say, I want to be just like Jabari. And he knows that, and I appreciate the role model that he will become for the rest of the existence for our program.
Right.
Yeah,
All future wrestlers. And I thank you, sir.
appreciate it.
You've had both of my kids.
Yeah,
I have some of my grandkids coming up, so just don't retire.
It's gonna happen.
Appreciate y'all, Bart. Thank you, Mr. George.
Thank you, Timmy. We're gonna go now to, let's go back to the guest speaker, Miss Erica Stembridge. And, on the library, what we're gonna do is, on the F, we're gonna do all of this right here while, but she's here with the library. And, we're gonna move it up. So if she would come up.
I have some folders.
Okay.
Okay, it's just information about the library.
Okay.
Good afternoon. My name is Erica Stembridge, and I'm the new library director for the Okefenokee Regional Library System. First, I'd like to thank you for allowing me to be here to speak on behalf of the library. Even though I'm new to the system, I'm not new to this area. I have lived in Bacon County since 1984, and I graduated from Waycross College, which is now South Georgia State College, in 2003 with an associate's degree in business administration. Being back here as director has been like coming back home. My goal as the new director is to better communicate what the library brings to the community and collaborate with local leaders, such as the commissioners, to better serve the needs of the public. Ware County is a fantastic community that deserves the best, and I'm excited to work with you to make that happen. This year, we're proud to bring several early literacy initiatives to Ware. 1,000 books before kindergarten. We have almost 70 children already signed up for this program at the Ware County Library. AWE computers, these are literacy-focused learning for ages 2 through 12. Playaway launch pads, they're preloaded audiobooks, learning apps, videos, and read-alongs that promote literacy that can be checked out from the library. And finally, our yearly summer reading program. Last year, we had 668 children signed up for the summer reading program at our Okefenokee libraries. As a promotional event to introduce 1,000 books before kindergarten, we had a special story time with the director that included a character visit from Bluey. For anyone that doesn't know, Bluey is a cartoon about an Australian blue heeler and her family. One parent told me that she appreciates the fact that Bluey teaches learning lessons in a fun way. At Appleton County, we had 215 in attendance. At Alma-Bacon County, we had 53 in attendance. At Clinch County, we had over 100 in attendance. At Pierce County, we had 50 in attendance. And at Waycross Ware County's toddler time, we had 169 in attendance last week, or 2 weeks ago. We're scheduled to have this again tomorrow afternoon at 4 at the Waycross Ware Library for those that were in school and couldn't attend toddler time. Additionally, we provide other community services including Ware County Senior Center, The library visits there twice monthly, nursing home book deliveries weekly, Way Green Local Fair Market Pop-Up Library monthly, May through November, Pet Sense Animal Adoption Event twice yearly. The next one is next month in April. The Waycross Ware Library also participated in the Ware County Health Fair for county employees recently, and branch manager Sherry Tanner spoke at Ware Children's Initiative on library resources for children. Ms. Tanner has also been invited to participate in the Ware County Food Ministry meeting. The next one is this week. The library, through donations from patrons and local ministries, provide food and hygiene supplies to those experiencing homelessness in our neighborhood. Additionally, the library is also a distribution site for Jamestown Baptist Church's twice weekly hot food ministry and clothing ministry. As you can see, the Waycross Ware County Public Library is a vital part of our community. From a statistics standpoint, since last July, we have had over 28,000 patrons come through our door. I look forward to increasing this number, and I also look forward to working with you on behalf of the Waycross Ware County Public Library.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
For your report. Okay. I see that there's been a lot of improvement done at the library. If, since we had the problems we had, it's come a long way. Evelyn, would you want to come up and show it, would you please?
So, good afternoon, Chairman, Commissioners. For you who have not met me yet, my name is Evelyn Denton. I'm the Chairman of the Okefenokee Regional Library System Board of Trustees. So, I want to give an update for the OKRLS system, what we've been doing, what the Board of Trustees has been working on, and the accomplishments that we've achieved over the last several months. Okay, so last June, you all tasked us with addressing and correcting policy issues that had led to some controversy in the community. So we've been working diligently to ensure the library is a place of neutrality, where everyone is welcomed and has equal access to the library and its services. That was our goal. So first off, we looked at the constitution of the OKRLS. We reviewed and revised with board approval as of August the 7th, 2023. Many changes were included, but I'm going to go through a few of those important changes. First of all, we had a stipulation that only the American and state flags shall be flown at the Waycross Ware County Public Library, as that is the headquarters for the library system. Defining of a quorum, handling of vacancies, removal of board members, nominating officers, and holding elections was also revised in that constitution. Then we looked at the displays and exhibits policy. We reviewed, revised that with board approval on August 7th, 2023 as well. There were 3 major additions. Materials, this is the exact language from the policy. Materials serving primarily as political campaign literature or utilizing persuasive and/or coercive language or containing symbols which promote religious, political, or sex-based ideology are unacceptable. Another exact wording from this policy. Displays and exhibits, whether initiated by library staff or the public, must not remain in place for longer than 31 days from the date of creation unless granted special approval by the local board which oversees that branch library in which the display or exhibit is housed. And then the third big thing, a referral process was developed for patrons to challenge decisions regarding displays and exhibits, and the corresponding request for reconsideration of display and exhibit form was placed online at the OKRLS website. The next thing we looked at were the bylaws of the OKRLS. We reviewed and revised with board approval as of February the 5th, 2024. So that's just recently been done. Language was added to better describe the responsibilities of the system board and its officers, as well as those of the system director. Language was added as a follow-up to the Constitution to ensure that the American and state flags are the only flags to be flown at the library. Then we went on to the financial policies, and this was a big deal. We reviewed and revised those policies, and they were approved by the board as of February the 5th, 2024. Many changes were made, and I'll list a few. Language was added to better describe how donations, fund balance, and purchasing are to be handled. Language was added to tighten up purchasing thresholds with documentation requirements specified for all purchases and when quotes should be obtained. We also looked at the oversight and added that the oversight authority of the system board was, to be addressed. Like, the system board has the final say as far as policies. So that was what was added. And then one of the biggest things we could do is we have a new director. And she was hired and started working there as assistant director December 1st, 2023. She's been working with staff to ensure the library fulfills its primary purpose of education, as you've just heard, and to maintain a place of neutrality for all our patrons. So I think there's some more that we could do, but overall there's been a great amount of progress.
Okay.
And I'm pleased with that.
Okay.
I'm thankful.
Thank you very much, Evelyn. And,
Thank y'all very much.
Thank you.
thank you. What, we have, ordered to stop funding on this library until some of these things were corrected. And I know a lot of y'all know about it. Before we do this, Evelyn and them worked real hard at trying to get some of these problems corrected. And I think that Timmy's on the board, and I'm gonna ask him if he will, well, let's see, we got a point. I don't know if we're supposed to point some now, or, let me see what we. Okay, no, we ain't got a point. But anyway, the county gives $227,348 annually to the library board. And I've asked Scott to hold it until we had all these issues resolved. We do not have them all resolved yet, but they're working on them. So before we turn this funding loose, I'd like to hear a motion if we turn it loose, or do we need to hold it until these things are completed?
Mr. Chairman, if I may.
Yeah.
First of all, just for a point of clarification, you indicated that we stopped the funding, but I think in the last you said that you told Scott to do it, so it
Right,
wasn't
the
we.
commission.
Well, but the commission didn't make this call about holding the check or stopping the funding. At least I wasn't privy to it. And
No, I want to know when that was done, because I missed that meeting.
And the next thing is this right here. Okay, now, it's true. I said from the beginning, whenever these issues started coming up at the library, that my position was that the library had a competent board over there, that they were working through some things. They had another director at that time. Since that time, they've gotten a new director. And I think that, they'll get these things worked out themselves. Now, if it gets so egregious to where we have to do something like that, we will step in then. But right now, I think that they're working through it. They're trying to get it resolved, all these issues they have over there. And we appropriate this money back when we sign off on our budget, the amount that we supposed to fund the library. So their appropriation is supposed to be every month. So I don't really think it's right for us just to withhold it unless we, as a commission, agree to do that. And up until this time, we haven't done that. And I just want to state that, that I think that, hey, I mean, they're supposed to get their appropriation every month, and I think they should get it,
I'll
Scott, are you
clarify
holding
that.
money, Scott? How much money are you holding?
The last month's, I think it's like $18,000.
$18,000?
Yes, sir. That's a monthly allocation.
Is that the only time that they've
Just
stopped
this
you?
last one.
I'll clarify that. I did ask Scott to do that on my own. I told him to hold it until we had this
Till this
meeting.
meeting.
Until we could, we need to work on this library, we need to do something about it. And, I think two or three of them agreed to that before.
We did.
We
There was three of us that agreed to it before. And
Agreed
if I
that we
may,
would hold it.
if I may, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Burris, Mr. Pope, you know, I've been involved in the library for the last 2.5 years, and there's been some, there's been a lot of ups and downs, but there's been a lot of good come from it, but there's also been a lot of negativity come from it. I was pointed out as being I was actually kicked out of the library at one time, and I still find it kind of humorous a little bit, because that library is a county building, and I'm the county commissioner that's in charge of that building, so that librarian had no authority whatsoever to put me out of that building legally. That's the reason the police officer didn't act whenever she told him to put hands on me and take me out. We need to go back and research state law when it comes to a county commissioner and the authority that he has in county buildings. Because that is our building, it's the citizens' building, and I'm acting on part of the citizens who nominated me and voted me into this position. I have never raised my voice at anybody up there the way it was raised at me, never talked to anybody the way I was talked to, and there's still changes that need to be done up there. The one thing that I do not like, Mr. Chairman and Commissioner Pope, Commissioner Burris, is this thing was voted on some 18 months ago, maybe 20 months ago, that these other two changes that have not been made yet be made. And I would make a motion to withhold any future allocation to the library until those changes are implemented.
What changes those?
What changes?
The
We're talking about-
changes of the mural when you first walk in the library
Bathrooms.
and the bathroom situation. The way I understand it to have taken place since the new librarian, Ms. Stembridge, since she's been here, and I thank you for what you said, got up here and said, I know your heart's in it, you can feel your heart's in it, your heart's in the right place. But the actual local board, the problems that we have right now, or the uncertainties that we have right now at the library, has already been voted on by the regional board. Regional board dictates what goes on at the local board, right? The regional board's already voted on these changes. Regional board has said this is what you're to do. Well, the local board keeps saying, let's send it back to the regional board again. Regional board's done voted on it. We keep stirring the pot, and I'm tired of the pot being stirred. It's time to quit stirring the pot, it's time to stop the stink, and it's time to do what we're there to do. The library is an extension of the educational institution in Ware County, and it needs to be treated as such. And I know there's several people sitting in here right now who heard me say, within my first 2 weeks of being at that library, there's gonna be 2 flags flown in that library. The same 2 flags that's flown in the commission chambers, the same 2 flags that's flown in any state court, the same 2 flags that's flown in any federal building in this country. There is no other flag flown anywhere of any kind, anywhere else. And we can go down that horse of examples if y'all want to. But that is a county building. And if we're in our building, which is the citizens' building, it don't belong to me, it don't belong to this commission, it belongs to the Ware County citizens. And they're the ones that says, state flag, U.S. flag, and that's it. No other flag. There's no other flag that's been approved by the governor, there's no other flag that's been approved by the General Assembly, there's no other agenda that is even being pushed in that library. And I'm saying pushed because when a mom or a kid or somebody walks up there to that counter, they can get LBTGQ memorabilia sitting right up there at the counter. And I find that wrong. I find that, ma'am, that you'll get a chance. If you want to, I'll ask you to stand up and speak. Just don't disrespect me and my commission. I didn't disrespect you as a citizen in the library. Okay? But I'm ready to get this thing resolved. I'm ready to get this thing dealt with. I'm just tired of it. I've just had enough of it. And I'll take it a step further for those of y'all. I mean, I received hate mail in the mail, in my mailbox. Received hate mail. Everybody thought it was a joke. Everybody thought it was funny. I don't think it's too funny when I got juveniles that live there. I take that very seriously, especially when I wore a badge for almost 30 years. I take that very seriously. And I'm just tired of the whole circumstance that surrounds this thing. I'm not trying to push nobody out. I'm not trying to say nobody's wrong, and I'm definitely not saying I'm 100% right. But these situations have been voted on. The regional board has voted. The regional board has made a decision. Why can't we go ahead and do what the regional board said do? That's my biggest question. That's my only question. Does anybody have an answer to that?
Okay.
Got a hand right.
Yes, ma'am.
Linda Titus, tax-paying citizen of the Ware County, tax-paying citizen of the city of Waycross. As I have just listened to your diatribe, it seems to be very personal. What I would like to get back to and ask of the chair, if my understanding is correct in hearing today that you said the funds were withheld on your say-so as chair without support of the entire commission board, without all of the commissioners being a part of that, is that the way that the county board operates? Because what I'm hearing is that we're to adhere to the rules that have been established by the regional board, and if we're not following them locally, there seems to be two standards going here. I just need to have clarity about whether we follow the same standard in all situations, or are there two standards? The chair made a decision to withhold funds without considering all of the members, all of the commissioners, and now I'm hearing someone that's talking about, you're talking about a personal issue that happened to you, Mr. Lucas. I feel for you, I feel for all involved, but that is not why I'm out here and why I pay my taxes to deal with your emotions, because I can tell you a lot that I have, and I have to handle those personally. So if we're dealing with how business is handled, let's use the same standard on all levels. Number one, if a budget was adopted and we have supported and my taxes have gone to support that budget, I'd like to see you adhere to what was passed, what was accepted and voted upon. If not, then it at least needs to go to those that are holding commissioner positions, or bring it back to the citizens, since you're using my taxpayers. It's not about your position, it's about my tax dollars that's allowing each of you to have your position. So I'd like to know what standard we're using, and if it's going to be the same across the board, in the county, whether it's the library, or whether it's cutting the grass in the county. Let's use one standard across the board, and let's keep our personal feelings out of this and deal with the law as it has been established. If the library, our local library, is governed by the regional board, then let's go back to the regional board. I think the county has a right to ask the regional board, are you following through on their responsibility? But let's not jump over hurdles, please. And I need clarity on that, since it is my tax dollars that's paying for all of this. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. We,
Yes, ma'am. Come on, Ms. Evelyn.
May I say something?
Yes.
Evelyn,
I think maybe history's been forgotten already. Back in June of 2023, this was all discussed, and there was actually a letter posted with 3 of the 5 commissioners who signed off saying that all those, whether it's decreasing funds or defunding or everything, all options are on the table. And it's not just about emotion. What I'm saying is he didn't just make that decision whenever I don't know when you told him to hold the funds, but it makes it sound like Chairman Thrift has just made an emotional decision, and I can tell you last June this was discussed. So evidently history's been forgotten.
thank you. They was, the 19 counties on the regional commission agreed to hold the funding, the ones that was in the library board. All of them did. Not just Ware County. Several counties agreed to it.
Mr. Chairman, if I may.
Go ahead.
Okay, and I remember when it came up about this, about signing a letter, something about read, but it was never brought like in this body right here, to where we had a meeting and we sit here and we voted open on it. It was more or less they signed on, I guess, to whatever, this is what they were talking about doing. My thing is just like to allude to what Ms. Titus, I believe, was saying. We voted on the budget fund the library, their, allocation would be X amount per month. Okay, now, with the chairman, with all due respect, he couldn't just make that call himself to say, hold the check. Now, if he had said, hey, I got some concerns and, I think we need to talk about this or whatever, we could have done that as a commission. But the funding should have kept flowing until such a time as we made a decision up here in a public forum that, hey, we're gonna withhold the funding for X, Y, Z. Mr. Lucas, he serves on that board as our representative. Now, it was two things, and the flag, I want to address the flag issue first. Okay, were there any other flags ever flown at the library besides the American flag and the state flag?
Yes.
There were other flags that were flown outside.
Not outside, inside.
Inside. It's
Inside.
inside.
Okay,
Not outside.
So there were other flags flown.
Yeah.
I mean, displayed.
Yeah.
Okay. And
It was taken down 2.5 years ago.
okay, my understanding also was that on this display, this whatever mural or whatever, when you come in, that this is something that the board had voted on. And now some of the people that voted on it are kind of wanting to crawfish and say, well, they didn't vote on it, but I don't know because I didn't sit on the board. My thing is right here. I think that, and it seems like that's the whole climate, seems like in the whole country, everybody's wanting to do everything and want you to do it this way, or if you don't do it this way, it's this wrong. And we need to try to come to some kind of agreement about this here, because I've been in that library several times. I walked by the banner up there, the display, and said libraries are for everyone. And I don't really even think that much about it. It's just basically showing. So, this is something that the library board, the local library board, if they see fit where they say, okay, if this is being a point of contention and causing a whole lot of problems, maybe we might need to look at it and take a vote to remove it or to leave it up. Just like with the flag issue, it's a simple thing. Just display two of them and that's it. Then no one can say anything. So I think this is where we are right now, but I don't think we need to withhold the funding because we've already allocated it. They're supposed to get their allocations every month, and that's all, Mr. Chairman, I have right now.
Okay, got somebody over yonder.
Yeah, can I just stand here?
You can come up here.
The pride flag that flew outside, there was a rumor going around that we were flying the.
Can you
Take
please,
that mask
can you
off where
please
we
state
hear you.
your name?
Katrina Campbell, resident of Waycross, Georgia. The pride flag that was supposedly being flown on the flagpole outside did not even work. There was no raising or lowering of any flag, Georgia or American flag. So that was not true. There was no LGBTQ material available at the circulation desk either, ever.
Ever? I've
Not
got
at the
pamphlets at my house.
circulation
I got
desk. We
pamphlets
had
at
that
my
too.
house that I picked up at that desk.
You picked up what, sorry?
Pamphlets.
Pamphlets?
I also,
Brochures.
brochures, I've also got photos of Christmas ornaments. I've also got photos of the Christmas tree,
Right, but that was several years ago.
but lasted,
Right, but way before all this controversy started, before, with the banner
it
behind
was
the
when
circulation
it's
desk.
when it started. What brought all this about was that Christmas tree that stayed up for about 19 months.
Oh, no, with your.
Yeah, it did. Yes, it did. Yes, it
It
did.
was a
We
banner.
we had 7 meetings. I'm not gonna argue with you in a public forum like this. If you wanna talk privately, we'll talk privately. I'm not gonna debate it with you, okay?
Well, okay,
We had
we'll
6
go ahead.
meetings up there in reference to that flag before the regional board voted to take it down. And now we got a mural up there that the regional board has voted twice on to take down,
They have
and
not
it's still,
voted.
yes, they have voted.
They have not voted to take it
Evelyn.
down.
Have they voted?
We voted on the displays and exhibits policy, which allows for the removal, based on the stipulations that were put in the display policy.
I
Has
still
the
don't
original
know.
board
I'm
voted
still
to-
not
the
sure
regional
what
board- Yes.
sex-based ideology
Has the
means.
regional board voted to remove that? That's what he's saying, and you're not saying that.
No, the regional board has not made a vote to bring the mural down. What they did was approve the display policy, which
And I'd still like a definition of what sex-based ideology is. Because I looked it up and I can't find it.
Well,
But regarding the monies, though, for two, I thought there was this SPOS money and that we had a $1 million renovation funds available, that we were gonna start with the parking lot and then address the bathrooms and the boiler system, the HVAC system at the library. So it's really nothing to do with the funding that you guys are withholding. That's more for the programs that happen monthly already, ongoing. So we're comparing apples and oranges, I think. So that's all I'm gonna say.
thank you.
Okay, you got a motion to withhold the funding?
I made that motion. I will go ahead.
I'll second it.
I will go ahead and say the money that we withheld in January, how many have we withheld?
Just holding one
1 month,
Is that last month or this month?
this month.
All
This
right,
month.
since we're in that month, I would say withhold it until the changes were made is the motion I'm making.
okay.
So
I'll second that.
okay, take a vote on it.
Let's vote on it.
How about discussion on that motion?
We got any discussion?
Yes,
Go
sir.
ahead.
Okay, so,
Did we have, I'm sorry, did we have a second on that?
yeah.
Yeah, we got a
Chairman
second.
seconded.
We got a motion and a second.
Okay. And for the discussion part of it, okay, so we've withheld the allocation from the library for this month, which is March. April is right around the corner.
Right.
Again, I don't think we should withhold it. I think, if anything, okay, you stated about the items that need to be done. Okay, if that be the case, give the library their funding in between now and whenever. Find out, because it looked like some discrepancies about whether the regional board said to take the display down and the local board bucked them on it and said, we're not gonna take it down. So we need to get all that straightened out, because there's a lot of stuff floating around right now.
First of all,
Well,
Mr.
Larry-
Commissioner Burris, the local board can't buck the regional board.
Well,
Okay, they can't buck it. The
Okay,
regional
so
board is the board.
did the regional board vote and told to tell the local board to take that display down?
When it comes to displays, if displays had certain things in it, then yes, it was to come down.
Okay, so has the local board said there's certain thing in there that need, that's what I'm just trying to find out, Commissioner Lucas. Is the display supposed to be down? If it's supposed to be down and the local board is not in compliance, that's another issue. But that's what I'm trying to find out. I'm just wanting to make sure that, you know,
Right
we
here
got,
on the displays policy and exhibits policy, number 2B, 3 major additions. Material serving primarily as political campaign literature or utilizing persuasive and or coercive language or containing symbols which promote religious, political, or sex-based ideology are unacceptable. It
Says
don't
it
get
right
no
there.
clearer than that.
And that's what the regional board voted on.
And it's supposed to be,
That's what
And
the
it's a
regional board voted
sex-based
on.
ideology that hasn't been changed.
so in other words, if, when you start talking about, say, going to the religious symbols and everything, so you mean if they have something up there and it's got a cross that, that's not supposed to be up there?
It's not up there,
And ain't
I'm saying, if it was up there.
but it hasn't been up there.
there's
Okay.
nothing been there.
So what's up there that's got y'all all stirred up?
The rainbow flag.
Oh, no.
It's like it's the rainbow flag that's up there.
The rainbow
And-
flag.
Yeah, you know, the multicolored
Yeah.
flag that they represent, that
you
they,
know, Jerry, what it's all about.
but they've got it in there as a heart, they've got it in there as a rainbow, they've got it in there 3 or 4 different ways, but it's still the rainbow flag. And you can look it up, there's many different things you can find on Google about it. But the majority one that I found, they say it's not based off of sex, sex, but pink refers to sex. Pink refers to sex.
Pink,
Pink, the color pink. Now, they'll tell you something else, and other readings that you do will tell you something else, but a majority of it, pink stands for sex.
So if they took a paintbrush with some white brushed and brushed over that rainbow flag you're talking about, that'll satisfy everything?
No. Mr. Pope, let me explain it to you this way. Just like I say, I was the one that was up there, and I understand her saying that I took it personal. I was a cop for almost 30 years. There are certain things you do take personal, okay? Because you have to stay safe and you got a family to go home to at night. But when you have an elderly female come up to you and ask you, as a commissioner, as a overseer of county funds, they come up to you and say, are you gonna be the one standing at this door, at this bathroom, to see if it's a woman or man coming in that bathroom? Or are you gonna make them drop their pants to see what they are? And I said, no, ma'am. I'm just gonna have them hold their head out a little bit and see if there's an Adam's apple. And she said, oh, you've thought this through, ain't you? And I said, yes, ma'am, I have. I believe in all kids and everybody, adults, youngins, everybody being safe everywhere to go. I'm not against no agenda or not against anything. But if you call yourself all inclusive, let's include everybody. Let's bring everybody in the fold. If you ain't gonna include everybody, don't have an agenda.
Let me ask
I hadn't seen the first Satanist group at the library yet. Hadn't seen the first, and somebody said KKK wasn't alive in America no more. Yes, it is. It's still alive in America. I'm not in it. I don't like it. I don't appreciate it. And I would buck them probably harder than I've went against this system. Okay? But I felt like the board was threatened by an attorney, and it was also Martha's third attorney that she paid with Ware County taxpayers' money. Okay, I brought that to their attention, and that was the night that I got kicked out. Because I brought them, the 11th Circuit Court of Appeals ruled on this December of 2022. They ruled on it. 11th Circuit Court of Appeals is over Georgia, Florida, and Alabama. They are the sitting law that governs this state. They're the highest law that governs this state other than the U.S. Supreme Court. And they've ruled on this thing when it comes to the bathrooms and when it comes to policies like this. They've already ruled on this. It's law in Georgia, Florida, and Alabama. Who are we to override that law? We can't.
Can I ask you a question for clarification?
Yes.
Scott and I went over to the library after the first bunch came in last year to look at the flagpole. Like the lady said, the flagpole was broken. There hadn't been flags on there forever.
I agree with that.
Scott had it fixed.
Right.
And now there's an American and Georgia flag up there.
Now, I never said the rainbow flag was on that flagpole,
Hold on.
but they were inside. There was little ones on the display.
We were told then by the director that the state had a $2 million grant for the library to do the parking lot and the restrooms. So do you know anything about that? Was the grant received or applied for or anything?
Not that I know of.
Did the board do anything?
Not the board didn't do anything. The board never announced them getting that money or nothing.
So how did the director know about it and the board didn't know about it?
I do not know. I don't know anything about that money.
It was the question.
No, just answers.
I'm usually behind the camera. So as far as the grant goes, the reason why that's never been mentioned is because it's literally sitting there. It's been approved. All we have to do is do renovations. We had proposed when all these issues came up that we use some of that funding to do single-use, single-occupancy restrooms to satisfy if this is an issue, we'll do that. There was pushback even from that because the cruelty was the point. They were like, no, we don't want to do that. We would actually rather you just enforce a sex-based bathroom. I was just like, well, that's ridiculous. We can solve the problem literally only waiting for us to do projects. The money is already there. It's $2 million that we will lose by the end of this year. It's been waiting for 3 years. I have brought it time and time again to try and get something to happen on it, and nothing's happened.
So what can you do about standing about that $2 million sitting there?
So
First I've heard of it.
there was a draft of a plan.
We don't know
There was a
that.
plan, a full renovation of the entire building that was submitted as part of the grant.
Right.
We just needed one in order to do that. You don't have to follow that plan if you don't want to. So you can use the money for whatever you need to, we just had to have something. So they got a drafter to do a full plan. So it's already there. We can use it for whatever we need to use it for. The idea was that we were gonna piecemeal each of the things, and it was going to be paid for via ARPA money, and then that money would be immediately paid back. So basically, the commission's not spending anything on this renovation.
That was our
The
understanding.
state is paying for it, and then the state is refunding the state.
Okay,
Right.
Mr. Chairman, if I may.
They, nobody told me that about no grant.
Mr. Chairman, if I may. Now,
Go ahead.
I didn't know anything about it either, Mr. Chairman, about the grant until someone brought it to my attention, so I started doing a little research on it. My understanding was that it's supposed to be like $1 million grant, and that if the county would, contribute $200,000, I think, toward it.
Right.
But it was all contingent upon the 2021 SPOS tax, which didn't pass. And they
Right,
say,
originally, yeah.
after the SPOS tax didn't pass, then it pretty much went away because we missed that window.
It would have, had it not been for Martha. Martha made sure, which was the previous director, she made sure that we still qualified for it, and she even got them to drop needing to match.
Okay.
She tried to do everything humanly
So-
possible to make
So
sure,
where is it right now?
waiting for us to do anything with it.
Well, I
Okay.
got one
Well, it
question on
don't
that.
exist then if the tax
If the
didn't
money
pass.
was there,
Well, he said.
we
they-
just put
they
a new
waived it.
building on it, we just put new air conditioning on there, and there's other things that we done to the library building. Why were those funds not told to us that they were available for renovations?
I've literally been in constant communication with management. It's not I'm not to come to you. I did the legwork to try and make sure that it got where it needed
And
to
this
go.
is the first I've heard about $2 million.
God, do you know about that?
All I know is on the grant was when Martha was there, she was gonna speak to an architect to start drawing up some renovation plans, some other things that need to be done beyond that. And then from that point, I never heard anything else. I know she's no longer there, but that was the thing. I said, once you get that package put together and figure out what you want, bring it to me, and then I'll take it to the commission.
I mean, I know we just put a new roof on it, we just put new AC system on it, we were done some work on the boiler or something, and none of those funds was used for it.
I was under the impression that that's what they were being used for.
No,
Though I found
that's
it
where-
really odd that we were gonna do a parking lot and a boiler and then no other things were discussed.
Yeah.
And that was all,
That was the only two things, the parking lot and the boiler. But she also mentioned some minor renovations of some sort.
The plans
So-
were included in the whole thing. They're there, I know I have them, and I know I've also sent them to Jerry.
Okay, we're gonna have to stop this here, or we can stay here all day. But what
Probably,
we're gonna
but
do
I
is move
did-
from here.
But I did wanna mention, because I know that these two know this, but none of the rest of you do. But I serve in the capacity for this position too, but you are aware that I'm the secretary for the Friends of the Library organization, so anything about the library, you could have asked me at any point. I'm there all the time.
well, my question is why was it not brought about in the meetings that we had locally? Because I didn't go to the regional meetings. I didn't go to them because I'm not on that board. I'm on the local board, and this is the first time I've heard anything about $2 million being allocated for Ware
Have no
County.
idea.
I mean, it's
been brought up
we go
before.
back and look through the minutes and see.
I did as much legwork as I possibly could to find out what we needed to do and if we still qualified. And I did that along with Martha to make sure. And I was just like, okay, we're good.
Well, if we got the $2 million sitting there, let's
So
move
you
forward with
saying
it.
that it's still, the money's sitting there?
Got to be used
And
by the end of this year.
what does this commission need to do?
I'm not sure, as far as I'm aware, we're already approved. The commission doesn't have to do anything.
We don't have to.
need the permission of the commission
don't
to
need
do
our
the
permission.
renovations. We
That's
just
their
have to
money.
cut a check, pay for it, and then
The
we
state
get
pays
reimbursed.
itself back.
Basically, you fill out the form for the state and they reimburse you for it. And the
But-
idea was that we would simply piecemeal each of the things that we wanted to have done. But
I think like Scott said, one reason it kinda got set aside is because Martha left, the director left.
Right.
And then it just, but the money's been sitting there. It was brought up the last big powwow we had here,
yep,
but it just.
I ain't heard nothing about no money. Wasn't nothing, well, last time I
Just got
saw
I mean, if
that.
they don't need no approval of ours, why is it still sitting there? Why hadn't they started the renovations?
I mean, we own, that's the thing, is that Ware County owns the building. Like, the library uses the building. They can't just unilaterally do whatever. Like,
But
us
why
would
were
have
we
to do
not?
that.
Okay, why were we not asked as a commission if y'all could start? Because I mean, I think everybody, all five of us would say on here, if you got money to renovate, go ahead and do it.
Why were y'all gonna renovate our building without even asking us?
No, that's what he's saying. They hadn't done any of that yet.
But I said, was that their intention?
No.
No.
Well, must have been.
No. They were not
We
gonna
don't
do
nothing
that.
about it.
No, they were not gonna do that. No.
No, they
That's what
won't
he's
do that.
saying. And I appreciate that, Spencer. But what we're saying is, I think we'll vote unanimously right now if we need to vote on it, if we have to, use that money to renovate the building.
As far as I'm aware, from the legwork that I did looking back through even the first portions of when it was discussed, God, I think it was in like
Yes, that's about,
2018
yeah,
or something
about 3 or
like
4
that.
years ago. And one of-
It's already approved. We'd already approved it.
Yeah, one of
All it has to
the,
do
one
is
of the
just-
hangups was because of county policy, you have to bid that work. And the way to bid the work is to have it designed, because you don't know what you're bidding on.
Right.
And that was the holdup. So I said, once you get that package together, if you'll bring it to me, then I'll work through that, put it together, have some staff help, put out that so we can bid this work out. But that was all about where the dumpster fire started. And so from there on out, it went south.
And I believe I started there, I wasn't there in 18, 19, 20,
Yeah.
and I believe I started
This
the
was
latter part of,
probably, maybe early
21,
19, maybe,
probably.
something like that.
and I started there early, middle of 21 or something like that. So that was two and a half years before I even started there. But, and I will tell you this, if you wanna let's get that ball rolling and start using that money,
Absolutely. I mean, like I said, we're
I'll
not to
help
lose
Spencer,
it.
I'll help you do it. I'll help you do it. We'll get it passed, we'll get it done. Because if it's sitting there, let's get it done. Let's get the renovations that the library needs, let's get it done. But what we're talking about tonight is our funding and us not wanting to continue our funding until the regional board's demands are met. And the regional board has voted on this twice,
Right, they voted on that display policy, but.
about
the
3 or 4
mural-
times.
The mural doesn't count as a display. I know that that was brought up many, many times. It's an installation that was voted on. I
Well,
mean,
it-
the local board is more than welcome to vote to take it down, but they haven't. The regional board is more than welcome to vote to take it down, but they haven't.
Well, my understanding is this right here on 2B. I mean, it says, I don't know how much more plainer legally it can say it than this. It says materials, which I would take a mural as materials, serving primarily as political campaign literature or utilizing pervasive and/or coercive language or containing symbols which promote religious, political, or sex-based ideology are unacceptable.
So your objection is the rainbow heart. I just want to make that
Well,
clear.
it's the rainbow heart, the rainbow flag, I mean, it's on there.
There's no flag.
The
Let's
rainbow,
be clear, there is no flag. on
the
that at all.
the rainbow itself,
Nope,
the heart,
nope.
so the,
If you'd like, it's on her shirt. There is no flag. There is a rainbow colored heart. However, the mural was never meant to be, it's not meant to point to anyone's sexuality. It's actually pointing to people's ability and access to the library.
That's what the artist intended.
Yeah. That's the intent of the art. There's someone with a hearing assistive device. There's someone in a wheelchair with an assistive device.
Do you want to look at it? I can come closer.
you wanted to walk up here?
I don't care nothing about it.
The thing is that I've been privy to all of this and I've had to sit there and listen to it every time, and it's beginning to grate on me. There is nothing happening. I'm literally at the library at least 2 or 3 times a week for various different book clubs. There's literally nothing happening other than there are kids there that either don't have a comfortable living situation or don't have someone to look after them. They're at the library doing their homework or they're on their computer in an environment where they're safe. How horrible.
Okay, let me ask you this, just one last question, Spencer.
Sure.
And for the people that's attended the library for years now, I had, back in law enforcement, we had this old saying, if one person comes up to you and mentions something to you, you might let it go in one ear and out the other. If a second person comes up to you and mentions something to you and they don't know each other, you might raise an eyebrow to it. If the third person comes up to you and says something to you, and none of the three are anywhere interrelated whatsoever, they come from 3 separate parts, actually come from different counties, and they all three tell you the same exact story, you might want to check into it.
Yeah, they're
Well, I had
all
about
following
12
a playbook that's been passed around pretty
I've
much
had,
throughout the entire country.
I've had at least a dozen people who, I'd say about 5 of them or 6 of them were not even residents of Ware County, but they come and attended, or they come up there and just viewed it themselves. And I can give you a list of names of people that resigned on the boards that represented these 18 counties because of that lawyer that come to Ware County. But when you got parents that come up there and they tell you that their child was giving a Christmas ornament and they were like, no, I don't want that ornament, my parents won't like that ornament, and they say you can't say no to it, you come to the library, you gotta take it home. I mean, I literally had about 12 parents tell me that. Now, I find that highly wrong. And that's just,
I can't speak on situations that did not happen.
well,
That's all I can say about that.
I was told. And
I'm sure
I had to address it.
Let's stop this here now. We ain't doing nothing but argue. Let's sit down. Spencer, sit down. If
I made my motion, you seconded it.
you got a motion,
My
Any
motion,
more discussion on this motion?
Chairman, the only thing I would like to say is that, okay, the funding, don't withhold the funding. I would hope that Commissioner Lucas could amend his motion to where we'll get the funding for this month. Between now and next month, let's find out for sure all this stuff about what the regional board has set down. And at that point in time, in our April meeting, then we can make a decision then.
And I can
Leonard,
see
I
the
respect
grant.
your ability on that, and I respect your thing, but we've already been, we've been up against this for, what, 2
2
years
years.
now?
2
Or
years.
longer?
2
Huh?
years or longer.
Against this right here, and we need to stop the funding on it until it's corrected. And,
And I've made that motion.
okay, you got a motion, we got a second. You wanna say something? All right, you got 5 minutes,
Me?
yeah.
I just want to ask two things. One, can somebody clarify the difference between promote and represent? And the other one is, can someone please clarify succinctly for the newspaper when I write it, what the issues are? I hear that one of them is taking down a mural that promotes something, but it seems to me the word might be represent. And could you tell me what the second issue is? I keep hearing issues plural, and I heard a little bit about a bathroom, but when I go to write about this, clearly, what can I write so that the readers will know exactly about what you're speaking?
Ma'am, you'll have to talk to your English teacher about that. Let's vote.
So, what about these other, what is the plural issue? I only heard the mural.
I
Can
don't
somebody explain the bathroom issue, because I don't know.
The
I
way,
was
the
not
way,
here.
the way, Matt, what's your name?
Elizabeth.
Miss Elizabeth,
I'm
the-
with the Waycross Journal-Herald.
Okay, the way it was explained to me was, there's two things that I find gravely wrong, and I'm just gonna say gravely wrong because that's the way I interpret it. And that was one, that it was actually in the local policy. If somebody come in today and they wanted to be a cat today, then we had to address them as a cat, or if they wanted to change their name today, they could change their name today, and you had to follow that request, or you could get reprimanded for it.
Wait,
Now, you told me to answer your question, I'm trying to answer your question.
Is this, I just want to know what the two issues are.
Well, there's more than two.
Oh, but you said two.
There's more than two.
I'm sorry, when you said you were voting these two issues, what are, okay, so the issues are,
The issues are, the way it was explained to me, and it was told to me by Martha, she told me herself, that if somebody comes in today and wants to change their name, or wants to change what they are, you had to do what they asked. What I asked her was, every time they do that, do they change your pay scale to represent that new person, or that new identity, or that new whatever? And they said, no, you don't have to. And I said, well, that's a contradictory. Why not? If they're gonna change it, they can change it. You got to change it with them, because you're telling your other employees that they're gonna get in trouble if they don't follow that rule. The second thing was, and I've even had other of our county buildings that are represented in other areas have the same exact problem. And that is, if a child, male or female, doesn't matter, goes into a bathroom, goes in their bathroom, male or female, whatever they believe they are to be, and if a male wants to walk in that same bathroom right behind a girl or a boy, they could. And I said, if it's a girl, no, they can't. They better hope it's not my child or my grandchild, and then walk in there because they identify as a woman then, because we're gonna have an issue, we're gonna have a problem, and I'm just being straightforward with you.
I understand
You
what
know-
you're saying, but what I'm saying is, and I understand what
According
you're
to
saying.
their old policy, that was okay.
Okay, but now, what I'm hearing, as I write this article, I'm hearing the commissioners say, the library has to change X in order to get their money. What is the X?
The X is what the regional library board voted on,
Which is?
Right,
right there.
right.
Which
You
is-
just get you a copy of it.
I know.
Let's vote on this thing now.
So
You done had your
That's-
5 minutes. I ask you to
That's
be
the
quiet,
issue.
please.
The issue is the mural.
No, the issue is this. It's what you got a copy of. So that's plural. It's more than one.
We voting to, hold the funding on the library until the problems are corrected.
I will,
And I
Chair-
got a
Mr.
motion.
Chairman, Mr. Chairman, I will make an addendum to my motion based on what Commissioner Burr said. We'll go ahead and fund them for the month that we're in. and start withholding it next month until these changes are met, that the regional board voted on. Not what we voted on, because we don't vote on it. They have a board, they have a regional board. So we'll withhold it, we'll go ahead and give it this month. Is that what you're asking for?
Yeah. well, Mr.
And withhold
Chairman-
it starting next month?
Mr. Chairman, one thing, we've been talking here, all of us as adults, but the people that's gonna really suffer some is the children. We need to keep that in mind, that the children are the ones that's gonna be deprived. If we cut this funding out, and then you have to start cutting staff, and you can't have hours, all this kind of stuff, so I appreciate that, Commissioner Luke. If we could just go and fund them, then we can address this and find out from this regional board, again, I'm being repetitious, find out from the regional board, what is it that they have instructed them to do, and if they haven't done it, then we can deal with it then, or the regional board can deal with the local board.
Commissioner Burris, with all due respect, it's right here. It says it
You
plainly.
need
This
to-
is from the regional board.
That is.
This is what they
that's
voted
that
on.
is.
And this is why we're here today.
Okay.
Under the region,
That's why we're here today.
Clayton County, Clancy County, no, they must help there.
And let's not forget about the attorney that went there from Savannah. I can't remember the man's name. I'm glad I can't. But he threatened the entire library board, the regional board that had it at Ware County that day was the regional board. And there was, how many resigned when they got back? The very next day, 2 resigned, and then within the next week, there was 2 or 3 more that resigned that were on, the local board. I mean, this man plain out told us, and you can go back and pull the thing on it, he told us, if you vote today, you're gonna probably get sued. If you don't vote today, you're gonna get sued. If you vote and don't vote the way we're asking you to vote, you're gonna get sued.
Who's gonna sue you?
He was.
Who is he?
He's some attorney out of Savannah who
I
just,
don't care where he's from, he worried me.
I think what he was saying, Timmy, and I speak, Mr. Chairman, I know you wanna move on. I think what he was saying, if it's the meeting that I was at, he was basically saying, okay, if you got this display policy up here now, if you go and you change it and do away and say we're not gonna have any displays, then that can get you in trouble.
no, he said it, that's not what he said.
Okay, well,
That's not what he said. He said if you vote today, you're probably gonna get sued. If you don't vote today, you're gonna get sued. If you vote today and don't vote the way we tell you, or asking you to vote, you're gonna get sued. And that's when I said I've heard enough, and I gave him the 11th Circuit Court of Appeals decision, which is supersedes any local ordinance, because we fall under, the only one higher than 11th Circuit's the U.S. Supreme Court. It's the only one higher.
All right, let's move
I
on.
made a motion, let's move. You seconded it.
Could you repeat the motion, please, so all of our vote on?
He's amended it
I've amended
to
it,
pay this month,
as
and to hold
Commissioner
it
Burr
after
said.
this month.
And
If
then
they
after
don't
this month.
correct if they don't correct the problem.
If they don't do what the regional
What the
board has
region-
voted on,
What this right here says.
Who's gonna be the judge on that to tell us what's going on?
The local board.
Denton, the local board,
the local board,
should tell us.
so right now, the motion.
We got one hand up over here, what, okay.
One clarification. Your motion is stating that programmatic funds are to be withheld until a maintenance or structure issue is resolved. So you're combining,
If it's resolved, then it'll take care of itself, and we'll continue to pay.
just for the clarification, I thought I heard in the report from the library, your regional, from the regional board, that that was an issue that they were considering at a later time. They did all that they could in the meetings prior to now, but it is still on their agenda to be worked on. So we're withholding programmatic funds for an issue that involves structure. Is that what I'm hearing? Even when the funds are available, is that my understanding? Funds are available, but we're gonna stop program for our children until a building is being dealt with? Is that where the commission is? Is that where you are as a commissioner?
what, no ma'am, where I'm
And
at,
by the way, let me just add an addendum. I was at that meeting, and what you're saying is not what I heard nor experienced.
okay, we can draw a replay on it. I mean, it's recorded.
I was there.
But my motion's been made, and I'm sticking by my motion. I want the library, the regional board's minutes to be carried out, and if they're not carried out, then funding will be stopped.
Okay, you got that, Jay? His motion.
Yeah, because that's all,
Okay.
to me, it's
And
kind
I'll
of
second.
well, it's kind of between a catch-22, okay.
Yeah.
We gon' if I vote right now, I vote yes, okay, that we'll, vote for this motion. I'm voting for that, plus I'm voting to say if you don't get this stuff done, then
Voting to defund the library.
defund it. I don't wanna defund, I think.
We're gonna continue to defund it. We're gonna continue to stop the money until this is corrected, is what we're saying. Is that correct, Scott? Or,
Pay this month's, but don't pay next month's until we hear back from them.
until we hear back from the library board, if these are met, then we will continue to fund it.
Go ahead, Ms. Evelyn. Yes.
Yeah.
So, what I'm hearing, I wanna make sure this is right. The issue will have to go before the local board first, since the policy was not adhered to right off, because we've got a brand new director. She's building rapport with her staff. She's learning the job, doing a great job too. So there's progress, a lot of progress. But if the issue is taken before the local board and they vote on it, whether it's yes, no, whatever, then if I promise you that it'll be on the agenda to vote on that on a regional level, will that satisfy?
Well, my question is, why keep being repetitive on it when the regional board's already voted on it? How many times? Twice?
Well, we have discussed the policy for a long,
Okay,
long, long while.
and I know she said that they discussed it, but she haven't yet said they voted on it.
Did y'all-
Well, we voted on the display policy. There's a problem because the display policy was voted on and passed August of 2023. And at that time, we had an interim director. We had actually 2 interim directors come in. So now we have a brand new director that she started work December 1st, 2023. So I guess what I'm trying to say is it put her in a really hard position to take that down right now. She's brand new. So, and building rapport with her staff in the 5 counties. So it would make sense for the local board to vote and they can remove it. However, if they don't, if the patrons I know have stepped out, they've called, they've sent reconsideration forms. If they want that pushed forward to the regional board, we can put that on the agenda to vote on.
And I think that would be great because, like I say, you got a brand new director there. Haven't even gotten a foot wet good yet. So I think if you give her a chance and, before we start, having a knee-jerk right there, say just cut the funding off, but you stated in your intro that it's been progress that have been made.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and I think progress gonna continue to be made if we allow the boards to try to work these things out themselves.
Okay.
I would hope that we could just table it, Mr. Chairman,
Well-
until we find out something. I know Timmy's got a motion on the
We've
floor.
been messing with this thing, over 2 years now, and we keep on.
It'll be
We
another
gotta
2
say,
years.
either we gotta do it,
Let's vote. I say let's vote. Let's vote.
and, I think that what we need to do is go ahead and stop it until it's corrected. Or either we're gonna go another 2 or 3 years.
I don't think we'll go that long now.
What
I hope
about,
not.
what about if we just dissolve the board and we just run the library? What about that?
Yeah, that'd be all right. We make you the board of directors.
Let Timmy run the library.
Director, she has her hand up, Mr. Chairman. Director, right there.
Come on up.
So the policy was passed in August of 2023. I started on December 1st. On number 10 in the policy, it says that a patron can come in and make a complaint, fill out the reconsideration form, and that will be forwarded to the local board. One patron came in like the end of January, filled out the form, and it was not in the time limit to be forwarded to the local board. So that request is going to be on the April 15th library board meeting agenda. So that it will be addressed in April. The mural will be addressed in April.
Okay.
And then whatever's decided there, if the patron is not happy with the decision, then it gets forwarded to the regional board.
Okay.
So that's the process.
Well, we may, do we need more time than that, than we sitting down, say, stop it now? Or can y'all
The regional
correct it
board
in
meeting's
3
in
months
May.
or something like that?
The regional board meeting's in May,
May.
yeah, the beginning of May 5th, I think.
I would hope.
So if we extend it maybe 3 months, give y'all 3 more months,
I think that'd
or
be
6
great.
months or something to,
I would,
if
To
you're
see-
working on
Just to
it,
see what the,
I'm with you, I'll give you time if we're working on it.
because the local board, I felt since I'm new, as Evelyn said, and I'm here, I wanna try to stay neutral for the
Right.
whole community, and the board collectively decided to put the mural up, so I didn't feel like it was my place to just come in. I think it should go to the board, and the board should make the decision,
You're right,
so.
okay. Okay, well, I appreciate that.
can you sleep with that?
We,
Can you
yeah,
live with that?
I mean, I can deal with
Man, we've been dealing
waiting
with
if
this
this
for 2
is
years
going.
now. And I remember being told by y'all not to have it brought to this commission. So, I mean, here we are with it brought here. And
I
I
hear
tried my
'em.
best not to bring it
Will
here.
you withdraw your motion?
Well, I'll make another addendum to it.
No,
The other addendum will be,
Start over.
I am starting over. I'll give it 90 days.
Or you're
Let's fund
withdrawing
it.
your motion,
Withdraw
right?
it and make
I'm
a
withdrawing the motion.
The original motion.
My original motion completely withdrawn, throw it in the trash, get
Okay.
rid of it. I think that'll make everybody happy. And I'll make a second motion, or a new motion, to give it a 90-day period. Let it go through the local, let it go to the region, and then the outcome of that, whatever it may be handled within a due amount of time.
And that would be for the mural.
mural and the bathrooms and.
Mural, the
all the
bathroom,
stuff
while they're
that
voted
needs to
on.
be correct.
Okay, now on the bathroom.
Displays,
On the bathroom, it may not be that they have the bathroom done if it's in its construction done, but they need to have something.
but
in
we gotta
place.
use that $2 million before December. So we gotta get the ball rolling.
So in this 90 days, you're gonna meet with the board and Spencer and get the ball rolling?
Well, I'm gonna be at that meeting, at the local board. I won't be at the regional board, but I'll be at the local board.
No, I'm talking about the grant. You gonna work with Spencer and get the grant?
No, I'm gonna let him write the checks. I'm not getting involved in that.
Okay.
He can sign them. He's secretary. I ain't signing them checks.
All right, let's vote on it then. You got that motion?
Need a second?
I made a motion. Give them 90 days.
Okay, I
We'll fund
second
it the
that
entire
motion.
time through the,
Okay.
We got
go
a
ahead and
motion
fund
and a
it,
second.
fund it in March, fund it in April, and then start in April 15th, give them 90 days.
In 90 days.
And then as far as the $2 million, go ahead and I guess we need to vote on that too, right? Go ahead and let Spencer, go ahead and get the ball
No,
rolling
we,
on that
I
stuff.
think just a consensus to move forward.
Move forward with it. Just move forward with it. Okay?
Got,
Okay.
It's 1 million, not 2 million.
1 million.
it's 1 million, yeah.
Okay. Well, let's move forward with that and get done what collectively the librarian herself and the employees, along with the patrons, want to do.
All right, let's vote on it. Mr. Burson?
Got a second?
Mr. Pope? Yeah, we had it. I seconded it.
Okay.
You got a second.
And that's to extend it for the 90 days, right?
Yes.
Thank you,
Extend it
Commissioner
90 days.
Lucas.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, Mr. Burson?
Aye.
Mr. Pope?
Aye.
Mr. Lucas?
Aye.
Mr. Hendricks?
Aye.
Chair vote aye. Okay. Let's move on to the, Ware County Personnel Policy Revision Paid Leave. Now that, Mr. Burson, you and Pope, I believe, to have that.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, if I could, I would like to make a motion that we table that, until our April meeting, and we wanna meet with the committee again, and then we're gonna, when we
Okay.
come to the commission, we'll have something.
Okay, y'all on the table.
Yeah.
Okay, I hear a motion.
Second. He motioned, I second.
Okay, got a second? All right, let's vote on it. Mr. Burson?
Aye.
Mr. Pope?
Aye.
Mr. Lucas?
Aye.
Mr. Hendricks?
Aye.
Okay, let's go on to the,
You vote,
yeah.
vote,
First,
chair votes.
chair vote aye. Yeah. Okay, B, Ware County Personnel Policy Revision. Political activity running for office. Now, is the probate judge here?
He is.
Is he? Would you come up and tell us what this is all about? and what we want to do on this?
I think he's got anything to do with it.
Well, he's the
He's the one that
judge.
had it, ain't he?
No,
It's not on,
What is the question you're asking?
On the political activity running for office.
Right.
Hey, somebody, what was it? He's running for,
Yes, sir.
No,
What,
no.
what basically this is, first of all, it's an existing policy we have now. It's very vague, very general. And so the policy that's proposed in your book there is to give it a little bit more details and much more in line with the situation where you have someone to qualify, that say, for instance, we have an employee now that qualified to be clerk of court. And this employee, based on the policy we have now, has to resign when they qualify. But in the case that we have now, she has no challenger. She's running unopposed. So it would allow that employee to go back to work in that office because there is no challenger. It'll basically take the position when the term starts. So basically what this is doing is really just just changing the existing policy to allow this person to be able to go back to work. Or in any case, you don't want a situation where you have two employees that may be working in the same office. For instance, maybe probate or clerk of court, and those two are they qualified to run for that office of being the department head. It removes that friction and that competitiveness, if you will, for both of them to try to get that seat. And so this way, if they're unopposed, you only have one, and no one qualifies to run against them, it would allow them to go back to work if there's no one to qualify.
in other words, we're gonna change or either add an addendum to it?
We're basically just revise it.
Revive it,
The county attorney took the policy and
If she can
addressed
go
some
back to
issues that
work.
were, I'm sorry.
She can go back to work and still run.
Basically, and not just her, it's for anyone that does that, that's an employee, not an elected official, to allow them to go, return back to work if they're running unopposed. Now, if you have someone else that's an employee that's running, then yes, you would have to resign. And you wouldn't resign until after qualifying ends, which is usually on a Friday. So if no one qualifies, you can stay at work, but if someone does qualify, you have to resign immediately.
Mr. County Manager, I got one issue with that, and that's what I sent out to everybody, emailed out to everybody, because I understand Ms. Melba is the only constitutional officer that requested or enacted the civil service or merit system.
Correct.
And according to ACCG, which is approved by the General Assembly, the ACCG says in civil service or merit systems, personnel policies enacted by the Board of Commission only covers employees who are under the control of the board. Such policies do not apply to employees of constitutional officers, unless they are covered under a county civil service system. Well, Ms. Melbo requested that her employees be covered under that county civil service system.
Correct.
Back in 91 or 92, somewhere like that?
2000.
2000. All right, and it says employees of a constitutional officer can only be placed on a county civil service system if the officer themselves petition the Board of Commissioners to include his or her employees in the system. And she did so, and she has not changed it. So according to this policy, she has to resign.
As it stands now.
As it stands, no,
As she has now.
as the ACCG says, because I sent everybody the actual limit on that.
Yep.
I mean, I emailed it out to everybody to read it. It's in the ACCG personnel, and that's who governs us, because that's who we get education by. General Assembly also approves it. So it's been approved. I mean, this didn't just happen this year. Evidently, they've had this face them before. But I don't want to open up a can of worms for future things like this to happen, and somebody might not like who runs for it, and then somebody say, no, we're not going to let them do it, but we let Sam do it, or we let John Doe do it. I don't want to give ourselves a black eye.
Well, that's what I thought this was about, because
That's what it is about.
Ed, he works with the probate, and he's running for probate judge. He's working in the office.
Just a
So how can he do that?
But he did, because he didn't, this judge, this constitutional officer did not adopt a civil service
They're
system.
not under our personnel policy.
They did not, he did not adopt it. You've been there how long, Judge?
The only constitutional,
long
the only constitutional officer you have
Is Ms.
that has
Melba.
adopted the county personnel policies is the clerk of the court.
Right. So he don't even fall under this. Neither the,
My office is nonpartisan also.
right, it's nonpartisan.
That we-
And
That
Roger,
unless
you've
they
never
adopted
adopted it.
Yeah.
Tax commission office never adopted it, and the sheriff's never adopted it. The only one that did adopt it is Miss Melba. So this is what's shooting her in the foot right here, because she adopted it.
This happened back when Ronnie McQuaid was sheriff and Randy Royal was working as chief deputy, and he ran as, for the sheriff's position while he was employed as the chief deputy. So this is something that's already
Happened.
laid out, it's already been there.
Right.
So there's no question about that. And under the rules and of the ACCG, it says that a nonpartisan office is not come under that rule anyway. And constitutional officers don't come under the county policies unless they adopt it.
And she did.
That's right.
She adopted it in 2000.
Yeah.
Well, if she adopted it, then we got to,
That's where you got to, I know.
And that's
she
where
used
you're
the help,
different.
So,
That's where you're different.
right.
So he don't have to step down. But according to what I'm reading here by ACCG, she does.
Yeah, according to that,
unless we
That is
pass
on-
this thing.
We can't override ACCG. Don't matter what we pass.
So, let me make sure I'm understanding, Timmy. So what you're saying is that in the case of, clerk of the court, that the lady that's running, she's running unopposed, she doesn't have any opposition, and she resigned already. Okay, but now she's wanting to come back because she doesn't have an opposition. So what you're saying is that we can't change our policy to where,
We can change ours all we want to, but we cannot change ACCG's policy.
okay,
Council
well,
is
Because that governs
can we
the state
do
of
that?
Georgia.
Hold on a minute. Ask council, can we do
Put that
that?
over to the county attorney and let her answer that question, so
Yeah,
that we're on the same page.
That's the reason I asked her. Let's,
Right. What are you referring to from ACCG?
What I'm referring to is the civil service or merit systems personnel policies. And what it says is, and this is straight off of ACCG's website, which that's the ones that we have to go to get our certification from. They have to go to get their certification from. And it says, personnel policies enacted by a board of commissioners only cover employees who are under the control of our board, this board, okay? Such policies do not apply to employees of constitutional officers, which there's two in here, unless those constitutional officers are covered under a county civil service system. In 2000, Ms. Melba wanted her employees to be covered under a civil service system, under the merit system. She requested it herself. We've already been emailed the policy where she signed it, okay? In 2000, she wanted it. And it says employees of a constitutional officer can only be placed in a county civil service system if the officer petitions the Board of Commissioners to include his or her employees in the system. And she did that in 2000.
Correct.
okay.
So according to that policy, she is separate than these two.
Yes, she has opted into the county's.
So the
system.
county's policy says she's got to step away
Correct. And I
until
believe-
it's over.
Right, and I think what's on the agenda, my understanding was we were looking at whether or not the county wanted to amend the county's policy.
For
all
just
their
the ones that are
employees.
under the county merit system.
if they run unopposed.
If they're running
They're
unopposed.
unopposed.
That's what
Only
I
if they're
asked.
running
Could we amend it? Where she
I
can
see.
come back and work?
I think ACC,
I don't know
That's
that.
how they-
That's the reason I
Amend
asked
your-
council about it.
the county
Yeah.
policies,
Right.
but you cannot amend OCGA
Yeah.
yeah.
state law.
And I think ACCG is trying to make it clear that the constitutional officers can opt in, and then y'all would govern them if they have. But you wouldn't be able to say the sheriff's office dictate
Or
their
his.
policies,
Or his.
or
Or just
probate
like-
judge.
like the
And I
tax
think that's what
commission.
ACCG is getting at.
Yeah, we know, I mean, we have no
Okay.
control over them.
Right,
I mean, they
you're
don't-
correct.
Roger's gonna do what he wants to.
So right now, Mr. Chairman,
But I think what's before the board is whether or not you want to amend your policy, and I do think the clerk of courts is currently under.
Can we
The authority
amend
of the
our
county.
local policy then to do that? We
yes,
can.
because if we didn't, right now, she would have to stay,
8 till the end of the year.
what? To the end of the year, or she have to stay until the election is over?
Right.
Till the end of the year.
Well, to the end of the year
The end
until
of
she
the year.
takes off.
So
Yes, sir.
you're talking about what, 6, 8
December
months?
31.
About 8 months.
When she doesn't have any
Till
opposition?
December 31st. Till she's sworn in.
But right now, if we amend the policy, she can come on back to work
That's right.
in her capacity that she was there, because and the key element in this is that she didn't have any opposition.
That's
That's
right.
right.
Correct.
Now, if she had opposition, we wouldn't even be having this discussion.
That's right.
I hear a motion that we amend it. Who's gonna make the motion?
So moved.
What's the motion gonna be?
Motion is to amend the personnel policy to allow unopposed candidates to come back to work after qualifying if there are no opposition.
Only
However,
unopposed.
attorney
They
is
the
going
only
to
one,
word
right?
that motion.
Okay,
That's the gist of it.
all right, Jerry. We got a second on that.
I'll second it.
Let me ask a question here.
Okay, now discussion, we got a second.
Discussion. Say we have a situation like Mr. Steve's in right now, and he wanted to run for this, and he was unopposed. If he wanted to run for probate unopposed, but he was time for election for his commissioner job. We're telling her it's okay to do this, but he would not be okay to do it because his name can't be on the ballot twice. So, I mean,
No, but
that
he
would be a.
says too many candidates.
But he's
No, I'm saying if there wasn't anybody else
He
running.
could do it.
but what the thing.
No, he couldn't because he can't be on the ballot twice.
But the key is that he's an elected official.
He's not an employee.
He's not an
He's not an
employee.
employee, that's right. We're dealing with employees.
And an elected official can't. My understanding, an elected official wouldn't be able to do that.
That's correct.
That's why Steve resigned.
They're required.
Right.
You either resign, or the moment you sign that qualification form and pay your qualification fee, you are terminating yourself, basically.
But under the system she was under, she had to resign,
Right. And she was an employee.
but she was only an employee. So we're gonna amend it so she can come back.
Okay.
You okay with that?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, we got a motion and a second. Any more discussion? Let's vote on it. Mr. Burson?
Aye.
Mr. Pope?
Aye.
Mr. Lucas?
Aye.
Mr. Hendrick?
Aye.
And the chair will vote aye. Okay. Let's go to the discussion concerning purchase with ARPA funding.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, I put this on there not to go ahead and try to make a concrete decision tonight, but just basically to see what ideas you may have, and then we'll come back at the next meeting with a list with proposed prices and so forth, so that way you can make even a more detailed decision.
Okay. I'd like to say, we, if all of us, the commission will stick together on the items that we want to move on, maybe graders, dump trucks, and let's see, maybe purchasing an ambulance.
And a fire truck.
And a fire truck or brush truck.
Other public work equipment.
And maybe a boom truck to pick up this trash side roads.
I'm under the
You know,
impression the
we
boom
ain't
truck
got,
works.
we don't have but so much to spend, and we got to do it by a certain date here, and we need to get this funding, it's there, and we need to use it. So, what this is, we ain't gonna say we're gonna spend it none of the day, but we want y'all to keep in mind what we're gonna do with it, keep it simple, but we only got so much.
And also, Mr. Chairman, I agree with you on that. And in addition to that, you know, I mentioned about possibility of us constructing a storage facility Because right now we having to keep move stuff back into it
Right.
all. And we
Yeah.
already had a set of plans, I think, drawn up for Scott, or Jerry, say he remembered it.
Yeah.
And
Can we
have-
build a building?
Yeah.
Can we do that? Okay.
Yeah, and, out there, behind the EMA office out there.
Yeah.
And,
Okay.
and that wouldn't be just for the EMA, but it would be for all kind of entities, you know, and maybe where they could store stuff, because right now we got it scattered all over the place.
Okay. All right. So we're not gonna vote on this. All we're gonna do is just, this is, something we need to work on.
Right.
Care homeless. Okay. All right, let's go on to D. Discussion concerning dirt roads.
Mr. Chairman, I've typed up, if we're on that, a motion I'd like y'all to look at on dirt roads. I think it will get us going. It's got roads that you wanted on there and all of us have looked at. If I can read it. If you're accepting the motion or you want to talk about it or whatever, but we've been dealing with these roads for a good long time, and it's time to get going, as we've talked about. I think this motion would get it in operation, get it done right. And I can make the motion for discussion.
Okay, let me ask you this, let's see. Phase 1 paving and drainage project. It will be Pascal Road, Cornelius Road, as presented. Other than just those two roads?
Just flip over to the second page.
Look at the second page.
Look at the second page under A.
Okay,
You got Pascal, Cornelius, Banks, Lane, Banks Road, Wadley Road, Slash Pine. Only one I have a problem with in there, Mr. Jerry, and I know it hadn't been open that long, I understand that whole philosophy, but you're gonna have a break in between of about 8/10, 7/10, 8/10 of a mile on a dirt road, where you're gonna have people coming off of dirt on both sides on pavement. And that's, to me, that's gonna mess up some of that paving if we don't make it concurrent all the way down, just keep it flowing. And that's Elmer Thrift Road. And I understand why we don't wanna pave that because of the way it might look, but that land hadn't been in his name in over 25 years. I mean, it hadn't been in his back pocket in over 25 years. He sold that land 25 years ago.
You know, that doesn't have anything to do with it. I mean, that's,
No.
Banks Lane, I mean, there wasn't any consideration what name was on the road.
and.
What I
If
hate,
there's a short space, then yeah, that could be done with a change order if we had to.
but what I hate is having to bring that heavy equipment back out there. You're gonna be coming down Banks Lane, Banks Road, Slash Pine, carrying all that heavy equipment. And we know what that does to layovers. And then we're gonna have to be repairing just to pave that one little section.
We do it at the same time. If you'll write down where you're talking about.
Elmer Thrift Road. Where Elmer Thrift cuts off of Banks and starts at Slash Pine.
But the engineer said this is what was needed, but we can add that. That's no problem.
I mean, that's actually in the middle of those two
Right,
roads.
that's no problem.
So,
I thought it was included, but I apologize.
so we talking about 2, 4, 6, we talking about 6 roads right now.
Well,
Now, I know the chairman
now
had
you
some,
got,
had some roads on that. Are any of those roads included?
Cornelius,
Yeah, the
Cornelius, okay.
Pascal Road,
Pascal,
the others
Cornelius,
on the chairman's list.
Wadley was on his list.
They're listed on the third page of the agenda.
Oh, okay,
Yep.
okay, that's because I know
The
that.
whole package is in the notebook.
negotiate with engineer contractor, pay the trade at the Banks Lane.
What it does is,
We should have saw this here way before. We already got a list of these roads on there. And, I know you wanna do it your way, Jerry, no, you doesn't, we're gonna do it. But, this here, we need an engineer that'll do these roads. We need somebody
This he gives
that'll,
us.
that'll go on this
is
thing
what
and do
he's
it.
proposing.
Well, there's two
I'm sorry,
engineers, there's two engineers listed, Hofstadter and Statewide.
Either one of them.
Griffin Road.
Okay.
You can do either one of them, it don't matter.
No, my motion, and I'll read it, is to hire both of them and divide all these roads up into packages. And have two going at the same time, so we can catch up.
Because it seems like that's what's been the problem, is we get these lists,
Yeah,
talk about it, then we say we can't get surveyors, we can't, so I guess what you're saying is that we get with an engineering firm, then they can,
Get two
they
engineering.
already have
firms,
their
that's what I've
surveyors
been
on
trying
staff.
to tell y'all to do all the time.
The whole
Let's
package.
put this thing and bid it out, let some engineers put this thing out to bid.
All right, let's
Scott
roll.
knows, we haven't already talked about it. We talked to Statewide, Hofstadter,
Right.
and all of them, and there's several more if they wanna bid on it, don't matter.
Well,
But
let's go.
it needs to, we need to act on some of these roads.
I
This
make,
is what
I
this
make, I
does
make a
right here.
motion that we act on this right here that Mr. Jerry just passed out on 325-24.
Let me see if I can,
Put a motion on the table to contract engineering services for current paving and draining projects.
no, wait now. To put in motion on the table to contact engineering services for current paving and drainage projects. Or local dirt road paving. Okay,
And the only one we're gonna add to it is Elmer Thrift Road. For now, till next month.
okay, Pascal Road, Cornelius Road, as presented with Carl Husted, engineer.
And I guess
Why are you just using him right there? Who you needed his drainage and bid package. Okay, then the county manager negotiate engineer contract for phase 2 paving and drainage presented with Statewide. Okay, and this over here is phase 2, is that right? Smith Road, Everett Road, no, Pascal Road, Cornelius Road, Banks Lane, Banks Road, Wadley Road, and / Pine.
Those are in addition to phase 1 and 2. Those are the addition roads that we've talked about.
You got it mixed up there the way you got it, it ain't, don't
So
make
what
sense
are
to
the other
me.
roads then?
But let it all, let the engineers, how are you gonna do them, Scott?
Well, basically, kind of the way Commissioner Pope mentioned, we're just splitting those up and adding the roads that you wanted to put on there
Yeah.
with Elmer Thrift added to it, because I just wrote it down.
Scott,
So that way.
could you read my motion for the record, because the clerk has to have it.
Yes, sir. She's got it. We wrote it down. We got it, just
But
like that.
everybody else done what I'm talking about.
Okay. What? I'm sorry. The first one there is associated with list 5. It says instruct the county manager to negotiate an engineering contract for the 2023 Phase 1 paving and drainage project, adding Pascal Road and Cornelius Road as presented with Carl Hofstadter and Associates. Contract to include surveys as needed, right-of-way drainage, design, bid package ready for bid. Okay, and then there was another one, actually, that's one, if you want to just do these individually,
Yeah,
as a motion and a second, that's one motion.
I got it
Or you
in one
wanna just
motion to
list
do
them
all
all?
of it.
We,
I got it as one motion.
one motion, we'll do it every bit, we'll pave every one of these
One
roads.
motion.
All right, let me ask this, Mr. Chairman, if I may. So, we just got Hofstadter and Statewide, so when we put this out for bid with the engineering firms, do we need to limit ourselves to just these two?
Leave that up to the manager.
Or do we need to kind
Well,
of
we-
spread it out just a little
talked
bit?
to both of them.
He's
They can
talked to
take it.
them and they're ready to go.
Yeah, they're ready to go.
So,
Okay.
we don't have to bid it.
We've talked to both of them.
Services
They
don't have
both
to bid
good
it.
Well, yeah, that's right.
They both,
And the other ones are gonna put you off 2 or 3 months.
yeah.
And we're ready to
Well, if
move.
somebody wants to throw in there, that's fine.
That's fine, let them throw it in,
All right.
as long as they can do it immediately.
Now, one of the roads that was mentioned, just so it doesn't come back, at the last meeting, that I don't see here, and I don't know if it's one of the roads was Griffin Road, that I don't see just pointing these out, because that's part of what was on the
I
list.
know the chairman's has wanted that, but.
Griffin
my
and
motion
McDonald.
Delays that till these are done.
Now, if we ain't gonna do the Griffin Road, then, we had a bunch of people up here wanting that Griffin Road paved, and we need to pave it. It needs to be on this list. That's the reason I know that.
Well, let me ask this right here. Okay, I know people came up here about Griffin Road and all, and that was something come up at the 11th hour. Okay, These roads, we've been talking about them.
No, the Griffin Road was on there way back yonder. Littlefield gave us a price on that Griffin Road over 3 years ago.
That was for what, surface treatment?
Yes, sir, straight.
Okay. Not paving, just surface
Yeah.
treatment.
And that Griffin Road needs to be added on there.
The roads on the second page are additional roads outside of what we've already voted for to start.
No, we ain't never voted for none of them to start with though, Jerry.
Phase 1 and 2, we've already voted for. The money's already obligated, it's ready to go. So my motion will include Griffin Road on that second page for design and ready to bid. That's fine with me.
Add Griffin Road to it,
Yeah,
on phase
that's
2 then, okay?
On the second page, Griffin Road.
Slash Pine and Griffin Road, right?
Yeah. But we're not
Yeah.
gonna,
Pine's already on there.
but we're not gonna move into these other roads that we've already been talking about and put.
McDonald and Griffin is the only ones
Yeah.
that's not on there.
Correct.
Huh?
McDonald and Griffin is the only one that's not on this right here.
Yeah. You gonna put Griffin Road on there too?
Griffin, not McDonald, I'm not going along with that.
McDonald's is too long right now. We
Yeah,
don't have to wait on McDonald's.
That can come when we got more money.
I mean, you talking about 3 people live on McDonald Road, over 9 miles, 8 miles, whatever it is.
Where's McDonald Road? We ain't got it on.
No, it ain't on there.
No, it can't be on here right
We
now.
don't have McDonald Road on here.
No, but we got Griffin and Elmer Thrift on here.
We
Yeah,
got-
but,
no, we
McDonald
ain't got
Road,
it on three. We
McDonald
got
Road's
from-
only from Clough Bay
That
to
that's just Banks
Nixon
Lane,
Farm.
Wadley Road,
See, that's
Slash
1.7
Pine.
miles.
But there's only 3 homes on there. There's 3 homes, and none of them have kids. No buses go down
Well,
there.
that'd
That's
be-
probably
You
12.
gonna put Griffin Road on the bottom of that.
He's got it.
Griffin Road,
That's
yeah.
probably 12 people. No, I.
All right, Scott, what's
Nixon,
next?
They'll, okay.
And let's see, I'm trying to remember which,
You're on list 6, dirt road paving phase 2.
yeah.
I'd say get Griffin.
Instruct the county manager to negotiate an engineering contract for paving and drainage for Banks Lane, Banks
All of
Road,
them.
Wadley Road, Slash Pine. We'll also add Elmer Thrift Road and Griffin Road.
Right, right.
As presented with statewide engineering, contract to include surveys as needed, right-of-way, drainage, design, bid package ready for bid.
You good with that, Chairman?
Yeah,
Praise the Lord.
pave all that.
I'm making
Let's
a
roll.
motion.
All right,
Jerry made a motion.
he made the motion here.
That's the motion.
He got a second.
He seconded it. Sammy.
Sammy got a second. Okay, let's vote on it. Mr. Burson?
Aye.
Mr. Pope? Aye. Mr. Lucas?
Aye.
Mr. Henry? Aye. And the chair votes aye. Okay, we got that. Golly, I'm proud of that. Oh, man,
Man, I'm sleep better.
that's harder than pulling hens, Steve, ain't it? All right, now, no parking signs on Vickers Drive right away. Who's on that?
Chief, can I ask the chief shooter to come up and explain what we got?
That is.
That's
We don't
off
have no
Hyde-
parking
that's off Hyde
sign on there?
Avenue, next to Allstate Fire.
So, what we're receiving complaints with a, business that's out on the corner of Night Avenue and Vickers Road, they're parking on the side of the road. Cars can't get down, so, Commissioner Pope and I have spoken about it, and, the only way we can really enforce that is to put no, have the county commissioner vote to put no parking signs up on Vickers. I also encourage putting them up on Night Avenue Circle as well. Because if we put them on Vickers, then they'll just spill over Night Avenue Circle and start parking there.
Okay, you have them signs put up there, can you get them?
Michael Brooks can get them.
Okay.
One negative about there are 2 gyms there, my grandchildren go for cheerleading and gymnastics. And then the company on the corner buys these big old gigantic boxes from Walmart. And everybody goes, digs through the Walmart stuff and throws trash and everything all over the road.
Why don't we
Big
write them a
problem
ticket
is
for
that
litter?
The fire station is the end of
Trying to
Vickers
catch over
Road,
there.
and it can't get out when everybody's parked on the side of the road. So that's the big thing.
Chief said he was trying to catch somebody there so he can write them a ticket for littering.
Yeah, he's got people out there all the time. It is better for the trash, but people are still parking on the side of the road and blocking the road. And the fire truck, I'm afraid, can't get out. we need it.
Okay,
So that's why I brought it up.
I like that. You agree with that, Chief? Okay.
Okay,
Kind of motion do we need to make, Scott?
take a motion.
Just make a motion to, install the no parking signs on Vickers.
Figure it out.
Yeah.
So move.
Second?
Got a motion and a second.
Just
Any
on Vickers
discussion?
or on Night Avenue Circle Two?
Huh?
Just on Vickers or Night Avenue Circle Two?
Right now, it's just Vickers, not less.
Just Vickers.
You wanna add that?
Jimbo
Got any
was saying
more?
that, he
Any
feels
more
like we
questions?
need to, or they're just gonna move to
Yeah,
there.
that's
Well,
true.
the business is gonna move.
That's
from the
right.
corner Down to that 9,000 square foot warehouse, when they get it renovated. So if we do that, then they're just gonna spill the traffic to park on Night Avenue Circle. And I've already had to go out there for Night Avenue Circle, people parking out there and blocking businesses in, so.
I haven't seen a problem on Night Avenue Circle. I'm out
Just
there,
that one time I had to go out there and talk with them, so,
one of the business owners.
yeah. But, I mean, it's up to the commission. If you wanna try Vickers Road, and then if we get a problem on Night Avenue Circle, we'll come back and add it.
That's what I recommend.
Okay. What? We got a motion and a second.
Let's vote.
Let's vote. Mr. Burson? Aye. Mr. Pope?
Aye.
Mr. Lucas?
Aye.
Mr. Henry? Aye. Chair votes aye. Okay, you know, I don't wanna go back, but, I'm gonna have to go back and ask, why was, the road not put on there? Let's see, what's the name of it? McDonald Road, and about the blueberries?
That's,
It's
oh, you're
not-
talking about Cornelius or McDonald?
It's not on here.
There wasn't,
It's on
That's
the
on,
list.
that's on the second list.
Is it on there?
That's just on the first list.
Griffin,
Those are the ones we're gonna-
I thought put
This is the
McDonald
only
on
ones he
there.
put on there. See, that's the only one we approved, is this motion.
Yeah, I
it's
didn't
not on
put
now.
McDonald on there.
McDonald's not on here, is it?
No, it's
Scott,
not.
No,
why
sir, it's
wasn't it
not.
on there?
I didn't put it on there.
Why didn't you put it on there too? It should have been put on there. That's a road that they run off the pavement here, and got to go a mile and then back on the pavement again down there. And that's the worst road. That's one we spending all the money on, putting the pipes in it and everything. And that was on that list. I figured this here, I didn't watch it. It'd have,
You wanna make the motion to put McDonald on there?
it needs to be. Let's go back and amend that motion. It
No,
needs,
you
that
just make a new
McDonald Road
motion.
needs to
Just
be
make
put
a
on
new-
there.
Just make a new motion, that's all we gotta do.
Okay. I make a motion that we add McDonald to that list of roads. Got a second?
Second.
Okay, I got a motion and a second. Let's vote on it. Mr. Burson?
He stepped out.
Gotta be excused.
Had to be excused a minute.
Huh?
He had to be excused a minute.
Excuse, okay. Hold on now.
Go, Mr. Jerry, we'll go ahead.
We'll wait on him a minute.
You wanna take a five?
No, that's,
Call him
about
up.
through, ain't we?
There he is.
Mr. Burson, I'll update you on what we did. We got a motion to add, McDonald Road. That's that little short road up yonder between the blueberries where they run off the pavement and back on the pavement. We just put the pipes in it the other day.
Okay, that's what, that's cement.
One, we put the pipes in and it blows out all the time. So we're gonna add it to it. And we got a motion and a second. All right, we're gonna vote on it. Mr. Burson? Mr. Pope?
Aye.
Mr. Lucas?
Aye.
Mr. Henry? Aye. Chair votes aye. Okay, we got it on there. All right. Now, we're gonna go to on down, we done took care of F, so we go into G. Alcohol license request. Waring Food Mart, 512 East Waring Street. Jane?
One of these here.
This is a request for an alcohol license, beer and wine consumption off premises for that convenience store on East Waring Street.
Yeah,
It currently has a license, but it's sold, and so the new owner's applying to get license in his name, and he has no disqualifiers.
If they changed the owner,
Yes.
okay, just changed the owner, okay.
It changes about every 3 months, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think they have to go, I really think they have to leave and go back for taxes
Go back
or something.
somewhere.
Okay.
Gotcha.
They good with you? They meet everything?
They meet
Everything's great?
All right. I hear a motion that we,
So
Where's
moved,
your last?
So moved, Mr. Chair.
got a second?
Second.
You got a second. All right, let's vote on it. Mr. Burson?
Aye.
Mr. Pope?
Aye.
Mr. Lucas?
Aye.
Mr. Henry? Aye. Chair votes aye. Okay. Now, alcohol license request for Uncle Wayne's Barbecue and Steak Shack, 485 Augusta Avenue. You got his too?
Yes, sir. So, Mr. Chairman, this is a request by Mr. Wayne Coleman to serve alcohol consumption on premises, beer and wine, at his barbecue and steak shack. There, he bought or he was renting the old, his old tattoo parlor there on Augusta Avenue. He's converted it into a barbecue restaurant, and he would like the opportunity to sell beer and wine consumption on premises. And also, he has no disqualifiers.
All right.
What about that daycare facility that's right there on the corner?
Daycare that's out of business,
Is that a business?
and they're not included in the setbacks.
Not.
Is that a drive-in or walk-in?
It's walk-in,
or
sit down.
Sit down or what?
Walk in and sit down.
It is
Okay.
big enough for that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
All
it
right.
sits about
Let's,
about 10 tables. I think.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
any more? All
That
right.
food out there too. That food out there.
They good? All right, I hear a motion.
So move, Mr. Chair.
Second.
Second, got a motion and a second. Any discussion? No, let's vote on it. Mr. Burson?
Aye.
Mr. Pope?
Aye.
Mr. Lucas?
Aye.
Mr. Henry? Aye. Chair votes aye. Okay. Okay, county manager report.
Only have one thing. I was wanting to, I need to read a letter to the commissioners, to the commission from, Public Works Director Mike Brooks. It says, "Dear Mr. Moy, this letter serves as my formal notice of resignation from my position as the Ware County Public Works Director effective April 19, 2024. Recently, I was approached about an upper management position with another agency. After careful and thoughtful consideration, I realize I cannot pass up this opportunity and have accepted this offer. I sincerely appreciate the opportunities afforded me during my 35-year tenure with Ware County. The friendships and network connections I have made throughout the years are invaluable. I am working to finish some ongoing projects to make the transition as smooth as possible. Respectfully, Michael Brooks, Public Works Director."
When you say we affected.
April 19th.
April 19th.
April 19th. Okay.
Sure will be missed, for sure.
Yeah.
Commission
All right.
comments?
Any more?
Commission comments?
Commission comments? No?
I'm gonna need some help with this one. Chief, if you would come up here, please. Please, sir, and put you on the hot seat. You gotta forgive me, Chief. I left my notes at home. I had a phone call right before I come out and I rushed out. But I had a phone call today. Somebody wanting a turn signal put somewhere where there is one on the opposite side, but not one. Have they contacted your office?
Not that I know of, but if we get contacted, we'll present it to the TPCC.
They said they presented it to them and they come back and said they would have to present it to the city because it was in the city.
Well,
But
what
I cannot
happens on
remember.
turn signals is, the city will have to write, is it on a state route or is it on a local road?
I can't, yeah.
I would imagine it's on a state route if it's got a turn signal. So if that's the case, then they would have to have the city, staff manager and mayor write a letter to DOT to request a traffic study there for that turn signal.
Okay.
Okay.
Forgive me, I just didn't bring it with me. I rushed out.
Just let me know.
Okay.
Any more comments from the commission?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I'd just like to say, on April the 13th, we're gonna have our annual fly-in. Mr. John Ratcliffe out of Savannah, but he's had this be the third year. And it's for the first flight for kids, you know, and they're gonna have concession out there for the kids, free hot dogs, free hamburgers. And, they get to go up and fly, you know, and you have several of his pilot friends that come in and just.
Get an airplane ride.
Yeah, give them airplane rides and, been real nice. And Frank, if you wanna add anything else to it, Frank, I mean, I think he's been down back
That's,
and
yeah, I've been on that before.
You know, they called out in the military when you got shotgunned into saying something?
Yeah.
No, just, what Commissioner Burr said, April 13th from 9 AM to 2 PM right now. We have 4 aircraft tentatively scheduled. I'm communicating with some of the other aircraft owners and getting them to donate their planes. And then fuel will be provided. Usually Mr. Radcliffe provides that. Last year, the Jones Corp was very gracious and they paid that fuel bill, surprised them with that, and it was a very nice day. So I'm working that as well. We have a few food vendors coming out, we're taking care of that. Looks to be a good time, but it's a good event for the youth here, folks that may never get to see or get to fly an airplane. And it's for ages, I believe, grades 3 through 12. There is a forum on Facebook, and I know Ms. Melinda has sent some stuff out to the schools, so they need to pre-register for that, please. That way, one, they can get a head count, and 2, they can vet and make sure that everything is done correctly. And then obviously adult supervision and my staff will provide safety and security. So.
Actually, I sent it to the
Okay.
office for approval. I haven't heard back.
Okay.
I just want to say, it's amazing the progress and the changes that Frank has made since he came on board.
Right.
The airport is beyond a doubt in the best condition it has ever been in since World War II. So keep it up.
I like.
Thank you, Mr.
How long has that been going on, Leonard?
Just be the 3rd year.
Third year,
Yeah.
but it used to go on a long time ago, didn't it?
What, no, just a little brief history. He came down, he dedicated his plane, he was here for a church event, but he dedicated his personal plane, had the church, plane dedication.
Yeah.
And he was always impressed with this airport and how, and he speaks well of it, and he's a retired chief pilot for Ford Motor Company. And, he's a not World War II, Vietnam veteran, flew fighter jets, and so he has a very extensive knowledge about aviation, and this is not just to get kids interested in being a pilot, but also for them to, it's all other kind of jobs that go with aviation. And so this is what he's trying to kind of get them interested in aviation, you know, and so it's been real good.
Yeah.
And he speaks for how Frank and his way he accommodates everything and the improvements that's being made out there. So even though we got people wanting to cut the new fence out there for some reason, I don't know why.
Just cut a gate in.
Fence.
Frank, I
Just
think,
put them a gate in there, and then they won't have to cut the fence.
I gave
Put
them
them
14.
a gate in there.
Sir?
They got 14 gates, and we know what it is. But one of 14 locks, they could have gotten a lot cheaper.
Yeah.
Frank, I think what maybe the chairman was bringing up, the Red Star pilots,
Yes, sir.
aren't they still coming? And they would give rides, they used to.
Now, in the 70s, I've been out there way long now. When I was young, we used to go out there and ride that thing once a year.
That was the,
Penny a
pound.
Penny a
ride.
pound thing.
Penny a pound thing,
Yeah,
yeah, penny a pound. We used to go out there and do it.
How old were you then?
He said
I
in the
was
70s,
probably
they was a little-
20, I was probably,
I used
50
to
years
do
ago.
it as a kid. Started in the
bit.
'60s.
$500 to get up.
oh, Bob Kirby was one of the
It'd
pilots.
probably be $1 a pound. in
On
inflation.
automotive.
You said in the 50s?
60s, 70s.
Yeah.
Probably was in
I
the
was about to
70s.
say the 50s.
It was in the '60s and the '70s. I used to, we used to go
Yeah,
out
penny
there.
a pound, that's right.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
Those days are long gone, sir. Sorry.
Yeah. Oh, Bob Kirby used to be one of the pilots, you remember that?
If Red Star comes back, you want me to get you a flight?
He needs one, he needs one.
Yeah.
And don't
Good
give
work,
him a
Frank.
parachute.
Yeah.
Hey, thank you, Frank.
Don't fill it up. Don't fill it up.
All right. Any more? Any more, Kimmy?
I don't.
I move that we dismiss.
Okay, well, hear a motion to adjourn?
So move, Mr. Chair.
All
Second.
right, got a motion, all in favor? Aye. Meeting adjourned.